Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. Got your boys here, Lanny and Bird, the Dividend Diplomats. Today we are talking to you about a Dividend Aristocrat that is down over 20% year to date. That yield is a soaring. This Aristocrat may be screaming signs of a sale, or it may not. We're going to tell you at the end of this video what our take is about this undervalued dividend stock.
Smash that subscribe button, give Bert the hurt, and Lanny a nice thumbs up here, guys. So close to 19,000 subscribers. What's the matter for you? And help out these dividend investors over here, guys. Let's make some noise for the community. Don't do it for us. Do it for the community, guys. Bert, a dividend aristocrat, again, 25 plus years to be in this select group of growing dividends, growing passive income. And this is quite a could be an addictive company here. No, we're not talking about tobacco. We're not talking about painkillers and pharmaceuticals here, guys.
No?
So put all that crap off to the side. We're talking about an industry that can be enjoyed, casually. Definitely could be enjoyed in a sophisticated setting as well, with some premier stuff that you may have or that might be in this portfolio. Pretty excited that they're here on this list here, Bert, that you want to take a look at them.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your take is after the metrics are looked at.
We're talking about Brown-Forman Corporation, ticker symbol BF.B, because we're going to be talking about those Class B shares. That's the common one that everyone seems to be buying up. And they have one brand, Lanny, that kind of just sets itself apart from the rest of it, doesn't it? Our friend.
The Burt whiskey.
I do not like this product at all, Jack Daniels, but I know plenty of people that do. That seems to be the area. And what's going on is it's actually been pretty interesting, especially when you started reading that earnings release. You started reading what's happening at the company. It's kind of getting hit with the opposite effect of people having a ton of money. As we barreled with higher than ever consumer debt, people are having to cut back on vacations. People are having to cut back on travel and start slimming down the budget. Brown-Forman's really starting to kind of do what they call normalizing to regular sales. That was the phrase they kept using, normalizing, because what's happened over the last 2 years, Lanny? Everyone left COVID and they said, screw it, we're going on vacation. Screw it, we're experiencing everything. We're going to spend relentlessly. We're going to go this concert here. We're going to travel here. We're going to take X vacation. We're going to pick up some Jack. We're going to pick up some beer and whatever we want to. That's kind of been the mindset over the last few years.
They have come out with the Jack and Coke mix though now in a can. So let us know if you guys have tried that in the comments below. Very curious there.
Well, it's a
And
good
obviously
thing
everybody wants that damn seltzer drink now.
Yeah, that's the new hot craze seltzers. It's a good thing they came out with the mixers, Lanny. What they keep calling a new mix, because that's really been what's plaguing the company is the sales. Net sales overall have decreased, down 1% overall at 4.1 billion last fiscal year. When you break it down to all their categories, what you see is whiskey sales were down. Tennessee whiskey sales were down. And
Tennessee whiskey.
yeah, tequila down, but you saw increases in Tennessee Apple, Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple, and that new mix and the ready to drink that everybody is doing. So they've had to pivot out. You're seeing large sales growth in these areas, but these are new products. So the dollar amounts aren't nearly large enough to offset the staples of your regular good old fashioned Jack Daniel's whiskey.
And the ready to drinks that are really available here in the States comes down to that Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola can and a couple of the other ones that they have. A lot of stuff that's not available yet here. They have like a vodka sparkling water one that's only available in Australia, New Zealand, and then you have the new mix with their tequila that's available in Mexico. Literally, that's called El Jimador New Mix.
Yeah, it's funny. So they recognize that they need to diversify. They recognize that the consumer habits were changing and they're making a pivot. And you know what? Jack's had a great brand to do it. All of these mixed drinks, you put Jack Daniels in them, they're going to sell. They're people because people know the name. You're not guessing.
Yeah, you want your cereal and milk with Jack Daniels, it's gonna sell.
New mix. Yeah. All right. But you're right. So I mean, the thing is, though, at least earnings per share are up, and up to 214, up from 32% over the last fiscal year. They saw a bump up in the gross margin, 150 basis point increase due to easing supply chain, favorable product pricing mix as well. So sure, sales are down. We started with the downer, but there were some positives there. They were able to manage and cut expenses where needed to help keep things moving.
Do you guys own BF? Let us know in the comments. You gotta let us know right now. We are curious. I know before we get into really the diplomat stock metrics, again, the PE, the payout, and the growth and the yield, Bert and I both own Diageo,
Yeah.
DEO, one of their bigger competitors here. So we're going to get into Brown Forman here. We're going to get into it. Balance sheet's looking really solid too, but we'll touch on that when we look at the metrics.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, let's get into this whiskey loving branded company here.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We're going to run through our screen, which has those three metrics: PE ratio, payout ratio, history of increasing dividends, and that dividend yield. This price was as of Friday, June 7th. That PE ratio, let's kick it out here. The price is 43.89. Earnings per share. Forward earnings are 202. That's a PE ratio of 21.73.
You know, not quite where the market is. Definitely still a little overvalued, in my opinion, on
Would
that
agree.
price to value standpoint. But the payout ratio for this dividend aristocrat, as we have already said, guys, so they pay a nice, handsome 21.775 cents, I think, per share per quarter, 87-ish cents per year. And somebody could just double check me on that, actually, 0.874. Yeah, 0.2175. Okay, perfect.
There we go.
And 43% dividend payout ratio. So safe for the investors out there or soon to be investors. I have no problem with that dividend payout
No,
ratio.
perfect. I absolutely love it. And when times are getting worse for a company, when you see a decrease in sales and you see some potential warning signs, you want to make sure that payout ratio is in a great spot, and 43% couldn't be any better. Their five-year
Absolutely.
their 5-year dividend growth rate's 5.54%, and they've increased that dividend for over 30 years, which makes them an aristocrat. A lot of your aggregator websites don't have them as a dividend aristocrat. I went through the dividend history myself because they have a bunch of special dividends. They'll
And
have a few special
you
dividends in there.
went back to the 1990s and you said, give me that.
Yeah, I said, let me just hit that up button and make sure every year I saw the dividend increasing. And I did. So I had no problem calling him an aristocrat, despite the fact that a few sites do not.
Yeah, Bert was bringing out his calculator and just hammering away. Like, okay.
Yeah, with nice leather case, that you pull out and you start tapping away
Bert,
there.
Bert,
You start,
Bert had the Jack Daniels poured over a couple rocks. Just sip it on the
sipping on,
Pilsner.
yeah, sipping on the Pilsner tonight. Definitely not the Jack. All right. So we've already said the price is down 22% year to date. Price
I
down.
went to two parties yesterday and didn't have a single sip of alcohol. I don't think I've had alcohol in weeks.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it happens. You go through those dry spells. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I have a half a can of Miller. I'd probably be like, "Whoa, hey!"
Yeah, you'd be tipsy here. He's gonna be falling over by the time we do our next video. All right, so they're down a lot. So what's happened with the yield? Obviously, the yield's gonna jump up. The yield is a smidge under 2%. It's at 1.98%, which
But
is
that's all right.
yeah, yeah, for especially when you look at their 5-year average yield of 1.13%, so it's 85 basis points above that 5-year average.
Rising up above that average because, guys, that stock price, as we said, is down 23% this year, down 32% since last year. This is a dividend aristocrat, guys, down, pummeled, beat up. But are they going to make the comeback Conor McGregor style here, guys? Is the fighting whiskey, making their comeback here? Wow. I mean, that's 5-year average barely over that 1% line, and now you're
Yeah.
at 2%.
Yeah, so that's why one of our followers, Colby, I believe, was the one that pointed out that he's buying it. So that's why we had to run him through the analysis. Thank you, Colby, and see what we're thinking here with that PE at 21, 43% payout, 5.54% 5-year growth rate. They are an aristocrat with a yield of 1.98%. Taking a quick look at the balance sheet, current ratios at 2.5x, quick ratios at 0.9x. So got a lot of whiskey in those barrels that are sitting there. It does take a while to age. So I would imagine inventory sits there a little bit longer for Jack than probably many other companies.
Aged over decades.
Yeah. Yeah. Debt wise, they have 2.4 billion of long-term debt. Compare that to equity at 3.5 billion of equity. So debt to equity is below one at least.
Yeah, it's actually real solid.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So they like to keep their balance sheet nice and tight, which you have to appreciate.
Yeah. That's right here. So overall, Brown Foreman, am I buying her at this level? No.
Or is
But
it going all in on Jack?
no, but interestingly, they say the PE ratio dips below 20. So you get to the point where it's below 20 and the yield jumps up. That would be an interesting point where to start looking at the company, see what you can buy and pick up a great company with great brands and a great dividend history. What do you think, Lanny?
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, it was up around $80 a share during COVID. You know, it's negative 22% over the last 5 years. I think overall it's just been a tough industry lately. I don't think any stock has done well. You know, Diageo's down pretty much the same amount over the last 5 years. Um, I think it kind of goes in line with what we're all talking about here. Reduction of spend from consumers. But typically these are the companies that do well because, they usually still want to drink their beverages to get through the tough times.
Yeah. That's the premium where it might be getting hit the hardest. Your premium brands, your premium prices might be where you start seeing the slipping up. And unfortunately, premium's what this company has. I don't really see much to complement it outside the premium stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying it, but I
Yeah.
will keep an eye on it
Yeah.
simply because it's an aristocrat that's beat up right now. But again, that price to earnings is still a little bit high for me.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Let us know what you think of Brown Foreman, ticker symbol BFB, in that comment section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. And remember, you're either with us or you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert the Hurt Locker and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.